Hello, today I'll be looking at the Office of the Assistant United States Attorney. More particularly, this job offer is for the Assistant United States Attorney for the Northern District of California. The office operates under the supervision of the United States Department of Justice and is led by the United States Attorney for the Northern District of California. For those of you who don't know what United States Attorneys are, they are a big deal. I'll briefly sum up their role for you. The United States Attorney serves as the chief federal law enforcement officer within one of the nation's 94 federal judicial districts. Each U.S. attorney functions as the principal federal criminal prosecutor in their district and represents the federal government in both civil and criminal litigation within their district. U.S. attorneys are nominated by the President of the United States and are confirmed by the Senate, and they serve 4-year terms. Assistant United States attorneys, on the other hand, are much more career level and are employed by the Department of Justice itself to assist the U.S. attorney in prosecuting federal crimes and defending the interests of the U.S. in more civil matters. Vacancies appear across various districts. If you go onto the Department of Justice's website, you can see all the vacancies across different states and across different criminal divisions. More specifically, there is a vacancy in the Northern District of California, which is why there's a job offer in this district, with the application deadline being on Friday, May 8th, 2026, which is coming up. So as I noted, Assistant United States Attorneys operate within 94 federal judicial districts, which are organized into 9 judicial circuits throughout the United States. As can be seen, the District of Northern California is obviously in California in the 9th Circuit Court. It's that stretch of coast along the western part of California. Additionally, United States Assistant Attorneys serve in specialized divisions such as civil, civil rights, and criminal divisions. There are much more divisions which can be seen on the right, such as antitrust, environmental and natural resources. There's a whole lot of different specializations Assistant United States Attorneys serve in. For instance, the Assistant United States Attorney assigned to the Criminal Division is responsible for prosecuting violations of federal law, including offenses related to drug trafficking, child exploitation, illegal immigration, banking, and other tax-related matters, and a whole bunch of other different statutes of federal criminal law that they have to specialize in. So, obviously, Assistant United States Attorneys are primarily the chief enforcers of the law as part of the executive branch. They enforce the federal laws passed through by Congress and are upheld by the Constitution. So one of the main duties behind the Assistant United States Attorneys is to collaborate with federal law enforcement agencies to investigate criminal conduct, research and brief legal issues, draft motions and search warrants, and present evidence before grand juries, while at the same time representing the United States in trials and appellate proceedings. On a more practical level, Assistant United States Attorneys perform much of the substantive litigation work within the district, such as through handling investigations, court appearances, and legal argumentation. While the United States Attorney, who is the head of the operation, provides leadership in a much more strategic approach, the Assistant United States Attorney serves as the backbone behind the federal law enforcement operations within the district. So in the Northern District of California, the current United States Attorney is Patrick D. Robbins, who is on the right here, and the current Chief Judge of the District Court is Richard Seaborg, who is in the middle, and the courthouse is on the bottom left. So for those who apply to this position, we'll be working under these individuals. So the salary for the Assistant United States Attorney varies significantly based on the years of service and experience within the Department of Justice. Beginner levels of the Assistant United States Attorneys, for those who just filled out this job application, can expect an average salary of around $85,000 during their first 2 years. Although the overall average salary is approximately $158,000 per year, with more tenure and experience gained throughout the department, compensation may rise to a maximum of around $195,000. So working as an Assistant United States Attorney offers substantial professional and personal benefits. Assistant United States Attorneys gain significant courtroom and trial experience early on in their careers, much more than lawyers in private practice do. This is often due to the fact that Assistant United States Attorneys assume greater responsibility and are afforded much more professional autonomy and flexibility in how to handle their cases. They also have to collaborate with respective federal investigative agencies, which enhances their professional development and litigation skills. So, despite these advantages, the position can be highly demanding. Assistant United States attorneys are subjugated to intense workloads, oftentimes requiring trial preparation, court appearances, motion practices, which oftentimes requires extensive hours. Many assistant United States attorneys view this demanding schedule as worthwhile, though, because of the experience gained when doing all of this. The application and interview process for an assistant United States attorney is highly competitive, as with any federal job, with applications submitting materials directly to individual U.S. attorneys' offices through postings on the Department of Justice's website. Given the competitive nature of the role, candidates often apply broadly, with strong professional recommendations that attest to the legal ability and character of the candidate. The selection process typically includes multiple rounds of interviews, potentially culminating in a final interview with the United States Attorney. So although salary and scheduling considerations are significant in regards to choosing a job, I believe that one main consideration should be ethics, right? You should never do a job you are ethically against. Take into consideration immigrations and customs enforcement. I won't debate the ethicality behind that. It's a hot topic issue. But for those of you who deem that agency to be doing unethical practices, it would not be wise to pursue a job where you have to go against your ethics, even in minimal circumstances, such as law enforcement, right? Personally, I hold all values of life to be sacred. I would never, ever want to take a life. And I would never want to be a part of law enforcement because part of that job requires the possibility of taking a life. Either through the defense of another person, through the defense of yourself, or the defense of property. That job requires the possibility of taking a life, and that's something I personally cannot do. So I would consider ethics to be a major proponent of what you should consider doing as part of a job. Another factor to consider when applying for jobs is diversity, and not just demographic diversity, but intellectual diversity. I would not want to work in a job in which we were all designed to think the same, or there is a homogeneous cookie-cutter intellectual culture occurring in that job. I would rather prefer to work in a job where there is a bunch of unique and diverse perspectives and opinions on how to handle certain situations. This only doesn't lessen the effects of groupthink, but it also applies heavily to other aspects, such as law. For example, unique and diverse perspectives allow for different viewpoints on how to handle certain evidences, certain arguments, or certain cases as a whole. Additionally, another job factor is just change itself. I would rather work in a job where I feel like I had a change on someone's life or a change on the community. I would not want to work in a job in which I didn't have that degree of impact or the feeling of impact towards my community. Thank you, and here are the references.